Okay, it's Magnus here, and I'm not sure if you remember, but in yesterday's video I made this. I think it was yesterday, could have been the day before, but anyway, it is a spinner, but I put some sort of got the Dremel, put some crisscrosses on there to sort of give it a little more, give it a little more grip. Now the funny thing is, it hasn't actually added that much to it. Like, the purpose was, I mean, when you spin a spinner, you can flick it there, you can flick it from the side with your finger, you can flick it from the top, like I'll do like this, like that. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to press it on there, on the flat surface. So that's why, and I thought, well, this will be a bit slippery. If I just use this here, it's going to be a bit slippery. So I put these in to make it a bit more grippy. Now, it certainly feels grippy just when you hold it like this. Like when you hold it and you're sort of putting your own hand against it, sort of, you're pushing it one way and your other hand's holding it the other way. However, when you're spinning it, you can't get that much force, and so it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't add grip. It does. It's just that because of the titanium, the way titanium is, it is already grippy. Now I think I mentioned this in yesterday's video, but it's one of those things I think I had to experiment with. I think I had to try, and like, it doesn't add much grip, so there's no point messing up the looks of an otherwise fairly slick design by adding lines to give it grip when it doesn't really give it much grip. So I mean, there is grip there. I mean, I'm just talking out loud here. There is grip there. It's just, I don't think it really adds much. I've got another method, I think, another way of doing grooves, hard to explain. Actually no, it's not hard to explain. Rather than just doing a crosshatch pattern, I thought what I could do is, in fact, I'll show you, wait here. I thought what I could do is cut really deep grooves in, something like, I'll have to do it and then show you. Something like that there. Hopefully that should give you an idea. Now, it wouldn't just be shallow grooves like 1/4 of a mil or 1/2 a mil. I'm thinking like really deep grooves that would sort of really dig in, sort of CNC'd, so it'd be very difficult for me to do it with a Dremel. But that's the only other thing, that's the only sort of way I could think that'll give some real grip sort of when you're pushing it on the side. Like, the reason, actually, I'll sort of hold that thought there, I'll give you another thought. I was talking with someone this morning and they were saying to me, because they see how much of an obsession I have with making this, such a fidget spinner, like something that's really, like, I say high performance. I think in the comments recently I've said, I want this to perform well, performance, and people have been thinking, oh, performance is how long it spins with a bearing. Like, you spin it, how many minutes do you get? That's the performance. I think that should really be called spin time. Performance to me is how does it perform as a spinner? And you can have different criteria, and the main criteria, for me at least, from what I've experienced so far, and certainly for me with this spinner that I'm designing, the main sort of performance criteria is being able to just flick around like this, just sort of start, stop, flick back, flick forward, grab it, finger at the top, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. I mean, you see that. I mean, I've gotten this to a stage where I can almost keep doing that every time, and I know that not all spinners can do that, and that's something I'm trying to do. So it's shaped in such a way and at such a distance that you can do that. So because you want to, well, I've not followed a lot of stuff, I've not read a lot of stuff, I've just gone by what I feel is good with a spinner, and that's that you want this sort of repeatability of emotion. I don't think anyone's talked about repeatability, and that's something that is big for me. I want to be able to just, you know, flick, stop, flick, stop, flick, stop, you know, or, you know, a couple of motions combined. So if I hold this in the middle and I flick it with my front finger, stop it, flick it with my other finger, so index finger, ring finger, index finger, ring finger. This isn't working too well because it's weighted, as if you remember right. It's weighted on one end because I didn't grind it properly. But I knew that, it's just a prototype. So, you know, repeatability is such a major thing, and I want to be able to repeat certain actions, you know, and I don't just want to sort of flick with my finger and that's it. I want to be able to flick, you know, I want to be able to flick back the way like this. So I'll give you a bit of a view. So I want to be able to flick back the way like that. I want to be able to flick forward like that. I want to be able to flick like that. And all those actions, I want to be able, you know, I want them to be no-brainer. I just want them to you know, you just do it, you do it. It's almost, you know, and it just feels so natural. And you know what? It's really, really difficult to get that. Like, I see spinners online everywhere. Like, I saw them all initially. I saw, not them all, but you get it. I saw, you know, I see all these spinners. I've pretty much seen every spinner out there. I've looked at them. You know, I was just like looking at them when I first started. I was like, oh, that looks great, that looks great, that looks great. Like, all these cool looking designs. And I, you know, because I've been just obsessing with this for the last sort of, I don't know, must be 2 weeks now. And I've gotten it to this stage. I mean, what you see here is, you know, it's a simple design, but it's taken a hell of a lot of work to get to this stage. And I know what it takes, you know, to have that repeatability, to be able to flick it in a certain way, to be able to stop it and you know, flick it the other way. And almost all the spinners out there, they don't have that. Like, they definitely look nice, and you know, I finally got a couple of spinners from people I'd ordered them from. Two spinners, and you know, one of them is, it's okay. The other one is, it's quite good, but it doesn't, I can't really sit and fidget with it. I know that because I sat and fidgeted with it, and I'm like, yeah, it's not really working for me. Whereas I've got one, two, three, I've got a few prototypes that are, you know, have bearings in them. They're rough. I mean, this one you can't see it, but it wobbles like hell. But I'll still sit and fidget with that because it's way more fidgetable. Is that a word? I don't know. Whatever the word is. I mean, actually, can you help me out? What's the word? What words or terms should there be for, or is there a term for just the fidgetability? I mean, fidgetability? That's quite good. Or fidgetable? Whatever it is. Like, just where you sit. I mean, you see me, in fact, if you look at my previous videos over the last few days, and I've been talking about a spinner, you'll see me I'm just talking for the last, you know, minute or so in the end of the video, and you know, I'm just sitting playing, kind of like I'm playing just now. It's just a non-thought. It just works. It's the right shape, it's the right size, and yeah. So this, I can't remember where I got to with this, but that was sort of my rant of you know, spinner design, because spin time is not a real critical factor here, for me at least. Not yet. It's not something I've been focusing on. I've not even focused on the button at all, as you can see. When you take a look at that, that's just a machine screw. But that's fine. That's all I need. I'm trying to get the size and the shape right just now. So this is getting real close to the final design. I have sent my father to Tauranga to the new workshop this afternoon. He should be back in half an hour with the latest prototypes. Now, they will just be very rough cut things out of 8mm and 6mm titanium. I will grind them down, something vaguely similar to this, but I'm testing another couple, 2, 3, 4 concepts on the shape. So I want to refine this a bit further. So I'm going to do that with those prototypes when they come back tonight. I might even get into the workshop, but that'll be well after this video, so if I do, you won't see it until tomorrow. But yeah, I think I'll leave that at that just now. I'll wait till my father comes back with the new waterjet cut titanium blanks and give you an update then. Right, okay, so my father just came back and he cut these for me. So I've got two, oh shit, I've got two of these. One is 6mm and one is 4mm. The other two are these, completely different. Look at the size of those beasts. Now those are again 6mm and 4mm. These here are just for putting the ordinary bearing in, the ordinary half-inch bearing in, and I've got another kind of bearing holder and button system where I can just insert it into here, and you know, it's way bigger than I will ultimately go for sure, but it's just that I'll be able to start testing buttons with this one, I think. So the plan with this is, well, it's too late tonight anyway. I will do it tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon or whatever. I'm going to grind these down. I'm gonna, you know, the one I showed you a minute ago, they are that is, you know, getting close to what I'm after, you know, the contours. So with a couple of these, I'm going to do something similar. Just sort of grind down the edge, sort of contour it, just spend a bit of time doing that. That will bring me even closer, I think. We'll sort of see how it goes. There's a couple of things I just want to try and sort of refine, and you know, and then I think I'm getting pretty close. It's been a sort of long road. I mean, truthfully, perhaps it might not be that close, because now here's the thing actually, like, I'm not sure, you know, if you've ever designed anything before, or you know, you've designed a few things. What happens, and it usually happens to me almost everything I design, you know, once I get it sort of further down, is, you know, I'm making the design. Here's the rough thing. I'm sort of doing the design, typically in my head, or you know, sometimes with actual prototypes, and I'm like, okay, this will solve this part, this will solve this part, this will solve this part, and it starts coming together, and you're like, oh yeah, and then at some point, it all completely unravels, and it's just like, what is this mess? What am I doing? Like, this is not gonna work. That's not gonna work. And it gets to a very frustrating point, and I had that all this morning. So last night and this morning, the whole thing sort of unraveled. You know, I got to that point with the one I showed you earlier, where I was just like, right, this, it's all good, and then it just unraveled. It was just like, oh wait a minute, no, what am I doing? Like, is this gonna work? No, this is, and it's as much psychological as it is the actual product. Like, I think it's maybe, you know, your brain just sort of, you know what, I don't know what it is, I'm trying to figure out what it is, but it happens often enough when I'm designing stuff that, like, I know it's a thing. So it kind of unraveled last night and this morning for me, and then it's just kind of coming together again. Like, it's hard to explain, but if you've designed stuff, you'll know exactly what I mean. Like, it just kind of, and when it comes together again, it's, you know, you're really confident in your design. You know it's the right design, and yeah, it's quite an interesting thing, designing. Anyway, I think that's it for today. I will leave you with a quote. It is by Booker T. Washington, and he said, "Excellence is doing a common thing in an uncommon way."